And we're sorry, I just realized that I think I've been on mute this whole time. I apologize. Good morning, everybody. This is Todd Nielsen with Clocktower Advisors, and this show is Talk About Your Community. And we talk about online, the offline elements of community and how those two things work together, hand in hand. Thank you for joining if you catch this on the live stream or if you happen to watch it in replay. My guest today, it looks like he's able to come in here. My guest today is Benji Vaughan, who is the founder of Disciple Media, a really great rising star in the community platform world. And really excited to be able to have him on the show today. I'm going to add him in here. He's sitting here in the green room in a second, but he was kind enough to jump in here at the last minute. I think we had maybe a little bit of a scheduling snafu. Benji, hi, welcome to the show.
Hey, Todd, how are you?
Good. Sorry, man. I thought we were going to maybe have to reschedule because it seemed like there was maybe a scheduling snafu there. I'm glad you were able to jump in.
I thought I just remembered at the last minute I had a double meeting clash, but I'm very pleased to be here.
These things definitely happen. No worries at all. It's great to see you. How have you been?
I've been good. Had a short vacation for the first time in 2 years in Spain, which has been great. And we've been busying away at Disciple, trying to build an even better community platform.
Yeah, I was looking forward to digging into that a little bit today. Now, for folks that aren't familiar with Disciple Media and the platform that you've built, you kind of had an interesting entry into the world of community management. You started out in the music industry, correct? And you still are in the music industry.
Absolutely, yeah. So I spent my whole life from a young age, since I was a teenager, making electronic music, and ended up getting more involved in running the record label that I got signed to when I was a kid. And I had a sort of light bulb moment when the music industry being under such turmoil with changing in terms of copyright and piracy, etc. I had a sort of light bulb moment when I thought, well, copyright seems to change in value every day as the internet changes, and actually the only thing that's consistent and has been consistent through my whole career as a musician for 20 years was the fan, the audience, the people you engage with, which in the world of music, especially the sort of music I was involved in, is one big community. And I really wanted to create a special place where the kind of culture of our label, the culture of our fans could be truly represented in a really unique space. And I looked around and couldn't find a place that could really do that in the way I wanted, and that led to Disciple.
Very interesting. And that did you come from a technology background that you were able to conceive and put together the idea for the platform?
Not really, but music. I've always been on the very technical side of music, so programming all sorts of weird machines to make beeps and boings, and doing a lot of stuff inside computers, building synthesizers and software inside computers for music. So I had a fairly decent head start on it, but it's been an amazing learning curve going from a musician to a business owner.
Absolutely. I mean, an incredible transition and journey that you've been on. So what if someone is coming to Disciple for the first time, and you were kind of alluding to the fact that the kind of platform you were looking for to build a community around musicianship didn't exist. What is it that Disciple offers? And it's not just for music anymore, certainly. What kinds of elements are baked into Disciple as a product that really helps it to stand out in the marketplace?
We've come at this challenge with the mindset of building a community product that is the foundation of building what we call a community-led business with. There's a lot more to building a great community, than just having a great community product. You need the tools to carry out marketing across social media. You need the tools to re-engage users through email. You need a whole platform to enable a a creator or musician to build what we call a community-led business. By that, I mean a business where the core asset, the core momentum of the business is members, audience, fans, whatever you want to call it. So we've come with that mindset. And because of that, we've effectively have two things we create. We create what we call a console, which is a community management tool and business management tool for creators and community-led businesses. And that can manage and engage with communities on 3 different code bases: a completely independent standalone iOS app, an Android app, and a website. And now we're starting to broaden that out to tools to re-engage members on email and send out messaging to social media platforms.
That's really awesome. So I know I got connected up with you guys, I think a little bit over a year ago. I've been on some of the live streams on your community for community managers called The Collective, which has been an absolutely wonderful platform, and get some great people working there like Nicolette and Valentina. Yeah. Just see, you've got a team of just some really incredible, amazing people who've been very welcoming and have brought a lot of stars, into that platform to share their experiences with.
Nicolette and Valentina have been transformative to us because we really see what we do as doing 2 things: we're building a product and building a network for hosts to be part of. And I know for a lot of the hosts we work with, that network is just as valuable as the actual product itself. And we see it as such an important part of this journey we're on. Is bringing people together, like-minded people together. So this notion of community business, community commerce, taking away the dominance of social platforms and letting people to build their own creative, independent spaces is a long journey. And anything we can do to help hosts mentor and connect with each other, any advice we can give them, it's all part of what we're trying to build. The Collective's a really, really key part.
That's interesting. You talk about the independent nature of community building and kind of getting off of the big platforms. I know privacy and that independence is something very important. It's a core tenet to what you've built into the platform.
Mm-hmm. For those of you out there who this may be teaching chickens to suck eggs, but this is, social media platforms are all about a business model where you, the member or the user of the product, they extract your data and sell it on for somebody who might have value, take value from that data. We're a SaaS platform, a software as a service platform, which is completely the inverse. We simply say, we're going to charge you a subscription to use our product, and all the data and value that you generate through the use of that product is yours as the host. So, and we do very much expect the hosts we work with to treat their members' data with absolute, treat it as sacrosanct. We don't, any customers we find that are abusing data, we get in contact with them and say that goes against our principles.
That's amazing. I truly appreciate that principled stand, particularly with I think all of the trust issues with social platforms in recent years. I think
it's a key driver of bringing people into our orbit is people who just have either a very strong knowledge of the power of data and its implications going forward, or people who just have a gut feeling there's something not quite right about this, and I don't want to build my community in a place which I just don't trust, which is mm-hmm. driving a lot of the host. So people like ourselves and Cyberlaw, other companies like Mighty Networks and Circle.
Yeah. Of the customers that you've brought on since Disciple launched a couple of years ago, who do you think who really stands out? Of any of those that you can name, or were there any particularly unusual cases that turned into some nice success stories?
Yeah, God, I could never have forecast or imagined the spread of communities we'd have. It's truly extraordinary. And I tell you, most of them are far more interested in the community of fans around a musician. There's some really, really transformative communities going on. I mean, I'll name a few. Sure. There's one called T-Shirt Millionaires, which is just great. It's run by an incredibly effervescent, incredibly enthusiastic guy. He has an Instagram page. It's all about people creating businesses around T-shirt branding.
Interesting.
And he has an amazing community of people there who are coming together to learn from this guy, but network and figure out how they're all trying to figure out how to build brand t-shirt based businesses, just as the way our hosts are trying to figure out how to build community led businesses. And he's creating an amazing business there. We've had quite a few. There's one of our first customers was a company in New Zealand called First Light Farms. This is what I never expected. It's a cooperative of farms across New Zealand. And they wanted a tool to bring themselves together, be able to share information easily in a space that's very particular to their particular niche. And it goes from use cases like that all the way through to, we have a network of GPs in the UK, general practitioners who wanted to create a place to share information, a really trusted, safe space for doctors. We have another network in India that's helping GPs get latest information around COVID. So it's such a huge spread.
That's amazing. And I think particularly for sharing information about COVID and connecting people and helping them understand the latest data, that's got to be incredibly important to do.
It's one of the areas I really didn't see being significant to us or as important to us as it is amazing, inspiring leaders coming together to create change in society, whether that's through doctors being more capable of dealing with COVID, or people coming together to push forward the Black Lives Matter movement, climate change movements. There seems to be a real thirst in society to bring people together to make positive change. And it seems that community is one of the ways of doing that.
Have you seen a big increase in business since the COVID pandemic has hit? Has there been an influx of new community interest?
There's definitely been a big spike in interest in communities. That can be a good thing and a bad thing, because I think people can sometimes think that building a community is just like, it's an easy, I'll have a community.
I'll just turn it on and it'll work, right? Yeah.
As people have said to me, we're not a painkiller, we're a vitamin. It takes time. It's if you want to build a community, you need to think about it. You need to really establish your business case for it, really establish what its purpose and who its people, who are going to be the members of it are going to be, and make a proper commitment to it. And there's been a slight element of people just panicking because of COVID and thinking, I need to bring whatever I was doing offline online and it will just be the same. It's not. You need to think things through. But having said that, the vast majority of the hosts who have come to us in the last 18 months have built some extraordinary communities.
And when you talk about creating a community-led business, I'm interested. Have you seen any kinds of trends around how some of the businesses that you've worked with have chosen to monetize community, or how have they justified the expense for that? Like, what is it meant for them to have community at the center of their business strategy?
Sure. So I'll give you two different examples. So one example, which is a really a kind of typical type of customers, an amazing woman we work with called Emma David. Sorry. She has a business called You Is My Camera. She's an amazing photographer and photography lecturer from the UK. And she started You With My Camera as a book publishing arm of her business. And she also had it as a Instagram channel. She got it up to about 40,000 people, I believe. But she then came to us and said, I really want to turn this into the center of my business now. I want to take this community I built on social media, bring it to a community where it's my community, the users of my members, and then monetize it through sales of her book, sales of photography courses. But most importantly, allowing the people who love her photography and appreciate her expertise to come together and mentor each other. And she's done that. It's been a huge success. She's got thousands of members. And she monetizes it the most simple way, which is through a subscription. I'm giving you, my members, real value here with this community. And in return, I'd appreciate you paying me a few bucks a month. So she's created great business. completely different example would be a bigger business we work with, more like a small business, SME. They're called CVG Nation. They're based in Canada. They started out their business. They sell on-demand, limited supply yoga wear and apparel. Fitness
And I'm sorry, I didn't catch the name. Your audio dipped
Sorry,
out for a second there.
CVG Nation is their name.
Oh yeah, I've heard of them. Yeah.
And they built up a big audience on social media with their content, with the idea that the business model was going to be, we'll push that content to social media. That will bring people to our website who will buy our fitness apparel. That ended up building up an audience of, I think, about 100,000 on Instagram, a Facebook group of many thousands. Then they came to Disciple, and they've built this community, which is really the bottom of the funnel. So the top of the funnel for them is initial social media awareness. Middle of the funnel is joining, say, the Facebook group, or someone to comment regularly on posts on Instagram. And the bottom of the funnel is their Disciple community. That Disciple community is now the core engine of their actual sales. So it's a really clean business model for them as people move down that funnel of social engagement with that brand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I've had some recent customers come to me and say they are really seriously contemplating a community-led business model. They've used that exact language and have been looking for some justifiers around that and what's involved. But it's a bit of a shift for a lot of organizations. They've had sort of that model that as you described with CVG Nation. They started out with social media. They've got a website. They're driving funnels to convert people to customers, but that whole use case of having your customers in a place where they can share with each other and they can talk about what's worked for them, about your product, and and what's not working, or what ideas they've got for you. I mean, it's such an enriching opportunity to have a well-constructed, curated community experience, for people to come to and really be a super fan of your business.
Absolutely, and it breaks down so many barriers of the traditional business. So when you start thinking of your customer not so much as a customer but as your member, it leads to a mind shift in terms of how you appreciate them. They're somebody you work with and relate to almost monthly, weekly, or daily. They're not just consumers of your products, but they're contributors to your business. And they can influence and change your business in the same way employees can. So there starts to be a breakdown in that hard definition of the traditional business. You have employees and customers. In the community-led business, it's much more. There's much more osmosis between the business and the audience, customers, fans, members who support it.
Yeah, they become collaborators in your success.
Exactly.
It's a much more partnered kind of experience. So now,
traditionally, I think for a long time, the idea of online community has been really seen as something that only works for very large enterprises, because only they can build up the audience necessary to build a great community. But we have some amazing communities with 100 members, hugely engaged in their everyday, really uplifting each other's lives in a tiny little community like that.
I love that. There's a quote from Ram Sethi, the guy who wrote "I'll Teach You to Be Rich," and I included in some of my decks where he says, like, I would rather have 100 engaged people than an audience of 1,000.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
there's so much to that.
Absolutely, there's been the 1,000 true fans idea is really coming into its own. I think it was initially published in 2003, 2004. It kind of got lost in the tidal wave of awareness marketing and just scale that social media brought. But it's really coming back now. And what's really surprising, and very influential person in this space called Lee Jin talked about this earlier this year. We're really getting into a world where it's about the 100 true fans. You can create an amazing business for yourself with 100 people who really want to be part of your community.
And it's interesting because I think there's a certain amount of I don't know the right word to put to it, fatigue, despair about businesses trying to qualify for search engine optimization results. It's become increasingly more difficult to show up in search engines with the organic results. But if you can really find your tribe of 100 people, I mean, that can become a viable business model for many, small, medium businesses that are out there.
Absolutely. And just if you can engage those 100, 200 core members you have, build a business off that, you also get that huge advantage if you use the right platform, the SEO that can be generated for your business just by having 100, 200 people really engaged around your content will surprise a lot of small businesses.
Mm-hmm. Well, Benji, I know you don't allow the grass to grow underneath your feet, and the platform is something that's always evolving. I will say, two of the things that I've really admired about the user experience with the Disciple platform is that ability to do live streams from within the experience, and just how friendly it is on a small screen mobile device, the way that it was built. Are there some other elements that people should know about if they're kind of thinking about Disciple as an option for them, or are there some things coming up in near future releases that you can talk about to tell us about?
Yeah, we've got a ton of stuff coming out in really shortly, actually. We're starting to develop out the idea of badges and roles, which we actually held off for quite a long time. I was slightly skeptical about the idea of badges. I think because it can be used in a way which just makes the community seem a bit trite, but it's an important part of the community. You need to understand the roles everyone has within the community, especially as community hosts their communities start to mature and they start to hand more power across to the members, which we're seeing now that we've got communities that are 2-3 years old. That's going to be an important piece of the work we release in the next few weeks. Live streaming is going to be an ever bigger piece of what we do. We think the whole world is used to doing this, and
this is where we are now, right?
Yeah, exactly. The future of community platforms does involve, it's the last 20 years has been about comments and likes and posts and threads and this sort of thing. I think really nailing how you can have a community that engages, maybe not primarily, but in a big way through live videos will be an important breakthrough for communities.
Yeah, I mean it's a part of the mix for sure, and I think leaving video out of these platforms. I think there are a lot of legacy platforms that are out in the market now that are scrambling to do Zoom integration or other kinds of things, and as a newer entrant to the community platform space, you guys are already some steps ahead because you
it was one of the first one of my when we was way back when we were just an agency building out stuff for bands, music bands. It was the most important feature that I said, I'm not even releasing a beta until we have live streaming, because it came from music. The thing that was really going to make it meaningful to fans was the sense that you're having a one-to-one direct connection with the artists you love. And this is before Periscope even came out. We were doing live streaming through our agency. So
it's amazing.
It's always a big part of Disciple, and there'll be a lot of evolution of our live streaming product over the next 12 months.
That's really great. I'm going to be watching with great interest. Obviously, I'm a partner with you guys, and so I'm always going to wave that flag. But I think you're doing some amazing stuff. I've loved the streams and the experts that you've brought into the collective as resources for your customers, and it's just so great that you're able to join and share some of your wisdom and journey with us on the stream here today.
Todd, it's been an absolute pleasure, and all of us at Disciple are hugely appreciative of your support and your insights you have around this whole industry.
Always, man, always. I'd be remiss if I didn't shout out to Valentina. She's in the chat stream, and she is mentioning that people should join next week the Collective Harvest Q3.
Yes, Wednesday. That's our Q3. So we do 4 of these a year. We call them Harvests. And they're really an opportunity for the Disciple team, the hosts we serve, and anyone else interested in this space to come together, hear some of our news around what we've been working on, and kind of get together and talk community and community-led business.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. And Mark Downey also says hello. I don't know if that's somebody you know.
Mark is one of the team. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's the bean counter in the business. So
fantastic. Hey, Mark, thanks for joining the stream. So if someone wants to know a little bit more about Disciple Media and they're thinking about starting up a community, what's the best steps for them to take at this point?
If you're thinking about starting up a community, please come to our website, join the collective, learn from our hosts, learn from some of the experts we have in some of the blog posts we write about this space. Get excited about it, get interested. And if it looks like you might have what it takes to do it, we would love to have you on board at Disciple.
And I'll just echo that the collective is open. Anybody can join that, I believe.
Absolutely. It's not designed for. It's why we have it separate. It's not called the Disciple community. It's not just a place for our customers. It's really to, a rising tide raises all boats is our thinking behind it. We just want to advocate and proselytize about the power of community to change business and people's lives.
And you guys have put that. You've really put that community on the map, and it's turned into a very vibrant place. Valentina put up the handy link there for everybody. The collective.disciplemedia.com. Yeah, and hopefully we'll see some people that view the stream or watch it on the replay. They'll pop over and see what it's all about as well. Benji, a half an hour goes by all too quickly when we have these conversations. I do appreciate you taking some time out of your schedule. I know you're a busy guy coming by to talk about what you're working on. Would love to have you back, or anyone from the team at any point in the future.
Anytime, Todd. You just say who you want, and they'll be here.
Well, fantastic. Maybe what we can do is a recap of the Q3 at some point the week after next, or a little further out. I'll get with Valentina and Nicoletta to see if we can get something rolling.
Great. Todd, thank you very much.
Thank you, Benji. And thank you for tuning in. This has been Talk About Your Community. And next week, I have one guest lined up for Friday. That is Piper Wilson, who is with Grazidi Interactive, another partner that I work with. And we're going to be talking a little bit about some community building there. Until then, I hope that you have a very pleasant weekend. Take some time for yourself, relax, remember to breathe, and be good to yourself. Because if you don't get your sleep and rest, you're no good to anybody else. I will look forward to connecting with you guys again soon next week. And in the meantime, like I said, have a great weekend.